Each week, Val and Amber make royal predictions and track breaking news headlines.
North Node is an Aries, some type of a win, maybe a sports win.
I mean, yeah, it's a win, the Four of Wands.
Weeks later, a momentous win for England.
Third house is electronic and also communications.
You know, I was going to say something about the military information being released.
March 24th, war plans are leaked by a journalist to the shock of European allies.
So there's something that is going to be released. It could be shocking emails.
All totaled, I'm reading this as resignation, someone quitting something.
Weeks later, an angry email from Prince Harry and his resignation are in the headlines. In the March 24th episode, Amber sees a scandal.
It's like embezzlement, money, taking the money for themselves.
We did it, everybody. We managed to get online. Welcome to World Predictions and Royal Revelations. I'm Astrologer Val Evans. It is Friday, April 4th, and Amber with Taurus Moon Tarot and I are so glad you could join us. We are seeing a major worldwide meltdown thanks to President Trump's tariff announcement. What's in store this week for the world and for the royal family? We will be investigating. And how can you pinpoint the month in your year using astrology when you could get the most angry? We are going to show you Prince Harry's solar return chart, which gave us an easy clue, and what would go down at Centaur. We're going to also look at Harry's next few months, as well as what kind of evil revenge is days away for Queen Camilla and possibly Prince William. And we also have some great news for England. So stand by. And if you don't know anything about astrology, we break down the tabloid headlines and omens we see every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. GMT. So hit the subscribe button and get your weekly notification. And a special thanks to our replay crew and our members that make this show possible, the valedictorians. And if you'd like to become one and support us, please click the join button and get some member-only content. We love to talk to astrologers and psychics on this channel, so that's some of the content that you will be seeing. You can find my books, The Secret Career Code and Forensic Astrology 101 for investigating crime. Tonight I'm going to be on, that's 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Predict the weather with me. We got some weather coming, and I'm going to leave it on this slide because I need to discuss this with Amber and get her take. So welcome, Amber. How are you?
Good. Finally here.
What I want to do is I want to add this. I want to show you what I got for this week, and a lot of fire. And I was going to ask you what you got.
Well, I also got Aries card. All of these are very Aries fire energy, your three cards. So the fact that I pulled this astrological card, but along with it, I have an interesting symbolism. If you see these horns, Capricorn, which rules the devil, and then Aries, which is war and Mars, and they're both with these horns. But there was one other thing that I'm curious about the charts. There's this Neptune secretive something smoke and mirrors that is behind the curtain with the numinous card and the 7 of Cups.
Whoa.
It's like secret revenge. Quiet revenge.
Yeah, you had no idea what I was putting together today, and there's a lot of focus on Neptune. So it's so interesting that you got that. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, lots of fire. Oh, I was talking about good news for England. Doesn't this look like somebody's having a party this week? Like, what's this about? It seems as if it might be something where people are celebrating, and it doesn't look like there's much celebrating right now. What do you think that is?
Well, the Knight of Wands can be a party. So, or it could be a passion project. And with the Queen of Wands, sometimes I associate that with Camilla. Is she attending an event, a passion project of hers?
Okay, yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, it's being happy. So someone's
Yeah.
being happy this week. All right. So we've got omens and symbols. And we had earthquakes in Texas today. They were small. We had four of them,
Whoa.
four small ones. And they're saying that it could be having to do with oil and fracking. So that's one thing. And of course, the global meltdown, that's what everybody's talking about right now. And I was wondering what you thought about what's going on right now. Everybody is just on pins and needles trying to figure out what's going on. Notice that little that shape there. It looks like a mountain on fire, doesn't it? Which is going to go into something I'm going to mention a little bit later. But it looks like, this is something Leo. So Leo's on fire. This is because of the tariffs, because of policy. What do you think is going to happen this week?
It's funny because the Capricorn card, and that's a boss, that's the government also. So there feels like, to me, that fire mountain and the instability, these two numinous cards, it's something you can't quite grasp. You can't quite understand it. It's confusing. It's, multiple messages that are causing confusion. That's the word that comes to mind, is like government confusion.
Yeah.
You
And
know.
it's so interesting that with Mercury, which, well, it rules a lot of things, but
Yeah.
it rules, paperwork, documents, technology. Tech is really having a hard time right now. Venus retrograde. So it's all about financial. So we've got these planets going direct, starting to go direct soon. And so that's going to really, I think, change the playing field a little bit. Right now, everything is probably supposed to be confusing. So I think that's probably spot on there. Let's see. Now, I see this a lot. I see the Teslas on fire a lot. I see the stickers and the, oh, hold on.
Protests.
Yeah. That one.
Yes.
And I couldn't help but think and look at the shape of the I'm sorry, this is the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck's on fire, right? Well, if you look at the shape of a Cybertruck, it looks like a mountain. It looks like a Leo shape, doesn't it?
It does.
And so that's something that's just like we're seeing a lot of. And there it is. It's like a mountain,
Yeah.
And then the other thing too I wanted to talk about was 007 is in the headlines. They are really, I guess Amazon now has bought the franchise. 007, they're going to be announcing who he is. I think the last name is for the actor is Johnson, which is kind of crazy because that would be a Leo and perfect for 007.
Yeah.
And I think that Broccoli and her team, the creators, they are meeting actually in London this week. So this to me is kind of a sign. It's a sign of, intrigue, spying, and that kind of thing. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about real quick, there were these two headlines on March 16th. I kind of have them out of order, but NHS was the week we were talking about lots of Piscean and Neptune stuff. This came out. So a lot of NHS headlines. And then also keeping in mind that Neptune and Pisces, poorly aspected, can also mean disabilities, not having structure to, your body. And so this news came out about benefits for disabled people. And so there it is. There's the March 16th chart. And so you could see all that Pisces there, which would represent those two topics. And there it is closer up. So just Saturn, of course, being sort of like it's a hold, it's a stop. It's something that would make a person sad, like maybe someone who has a disability or someone who needs health care.
Even the photo, everyone's wearing blue and they're splashing water.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can see that. And for those of you who are just joining us for the first time, we look at event charts every week, usually every week, to see what we can see for the headlines, usually tabloid headlines. We just want to see what they're going to say. And then, of course, the royals. All right. So this week's clue. Now, this is this week. Actually, before we even get to that, I wanted to say hello just to a couple of other people. Yeah, Christine, you're in. Yes, just north of you, we had earthquakes, but they were very small, so I don't think anybody really felt them. Yes, Jan, I know that's a big one. That's going to be our next show. Andy and his China connections. Jen's here, and yes, Margaret's here. Hello, Genevieve, and Angel saying yes. I love that blue. Blue for it's what kind of color? Like, what's the color for that? It's like periwinkle, but it is kind of Neptunian. And good evenings, darlings, from Dieppe, France. Popped over on the ferry from Sussex. Very nice. And yeah, Eleanor, I'm wondering how Americans are reacting to all that is going on. We just hear about the rest of the world. Well, if you judge my Facebook page with my high school friends, they're having a hard time, especially people with kids. They depend on grants in order to get their kids through school. It really, I think, makes you more empathetic. Somebody like me, I don't have children. So when I look at Facebook, I can see how people are really, really affected, particularly when they are depending on the government for something. Thank you, Echo. Yes, royal revenge. We're going to be talking about royal revenge today. And yeah, Eleanor, you said good news. Thank God. Thank you. We need it in the UK and the world needs it. Angel, you said such turbulent times. Happy to get to spend time with all of you in this awesome community. Thank you, Angel. And I don't see Brenda here. Where is Brenda? And we actually changed the time of this show again, just because we didn't want Angel waking up at 4 a.m. or however early it was. So we are glad to have you back on. And now we are looking at this week, predictions for this week. Okay, now this is the clue for this week, and you could see a stellium. This is a pretty big deal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, you might as well say 7 planets, and secrets. A lot of secrets. That's Pisces. Secrets and scandals. We've got multiple scandals. So you're gonna need to, get your pajamas on to watch all of this. We've got lots of spies. And Venus in all of this Pisces means a lot of female spies. There are some people who are just going to poof, they're going to vanish. That's Pisces. It's appear and disappear. And so not sure what that's about. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is Mercury. Mercury rules the weather. And when Mercury is retrograde, and it is in the middle of this stellium, whoa, hold on, because this means some serious, again, more serious weather. It's going back and forth through all of those planets, and it's making those planets retrograde. That's my theory, is that when a retrograde planet touches another planet, there's retrograde energy. It's almost like a fight in there. It's like a whirlpool, I would say. So
the North Node retrograde.
Yeah, well, yeah, the North Node is always retrograde, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To put it together.
Yeah.
And it's like a double retrograde, right?
Right.
So I guess we should start with the weather. What do you think? What is happening this week? Do we have some kind of storm, flood? And with Aries in there, could be some tornadoes. I don't know what, but it looks like it could be something that we have to deal with.
Yeah, I would almost say fires.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
What?
the same card, that Four of Wands. Or you had the Knight of Wands. I apologize. But more fire. And
But
the Four of Wands is that sort of event. It's an event, is what I'm seeing.
yeah, it's
But
an
lots
event.
of fire. Mhm.
Yeah, it's almost like as an example, the tsunami in Indonesia was an event.
The next card,
Whoa, what's that? What do
the
you see?
Seven of Wands. One of the three cards
Oh
you
my God, the one
I
I
know.
almost forgot. Oh my God.
So I just take this as a message that we're on track with fire. We talked
Definitely.
about fire, the Aries element.
It almost makes me think of like a yoga retreat. I mean, would
Y-
that, you know?
Yeah, it does. But to me too, I always view this as a boundary card. And, a lot of times they talk about the perimeter of a fire and we're holding the perimeter. This is about holding boundaries and holding things back
Ah,
or standing in a place of power, king of the hill, standing at fighting what you believe, fighting for what you believe in, that kind of energy too. In a
yeah.
good place, yeah.
And then with the Aries in there with the stellium, I mean, with that card that we both got, I guess, it looks like Arizona. Like it looks like a hot place, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Desert, like windswept. It's like the hooboos. What are they called? The sandstorms?
Yeah, I don't know.
The
Jan
hoodoos.
knows.
Yeah, we need to know the name. Food.
Angel
Food.
probably knows. Oh yeah, that's right. Another thing that came in, Russell Brand has been charged with rape. Crazy
Saw
headlines right
that.
now. And Carla, no worries. Just hang with us. You can look at that later. We are just getting started, and actually, I better get going because I've got a lot of charts here. And also, Jan, private schools in UK hit by valued added tax. Private schools closing, and not enough places in state-run schools. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Hello, Brenda. We were waiting for you. And One Consciousness is here. Welcome. And Kimberly's here. Yes, electric blue. Okay, yeah. That's the color electric blue for Amber. And all right. So here's the chart. Oops. Uh okay. Here's the chart. And we have got that, you can't help but look at the red line. This is a fall. It's like a waterfall. We've already seen the earthquake in, was it Myanmar? And you could see the pools coming over. I should have put that for another omen where there's like some kind of waterfall. So maybe it's Niagara Falls. I don't know. Neptune is also communism. Do we ever talk about communism that much anymore? I don't even know. But that could be in there too. It could be the death of communism. But we've got this nice blue line here. We still have homes. We've got the moon. We've got Mars. See, it's the 8th house. This is the tariffs. What I see here is a side door. People are figuring out the whole tariff situation. There are loopholes. That could be a great example of, everybody's distressed and in despair, but some people figure out how to continue on and thrive and get around the tariffs. Now, that might be completely uninformed, but that's what my chart's saying. So could you give me a card regarding maybe the average consumer and the small business person? Is this something that they're going to be able to take advantage of? There's something that's a benefit there to them.
Yes, this is so funny. And the sun is on the bottom of the deck, but I did pull this card before, and the first message I did sort of get, this Six of Cups is about being given a gift. And this is clarifying it with money. And this is children and families and a home. And it made me think of, this card made me think of, housing and, government assistance and things like that for homes or children. It's not on the track of tariffs, but it is money for people or increasing. It's like a gift to people with children or families. Maybe it's some kind of kickback or tax relief or something around children or families or homes
Okay,
specifically.
that's great. And huge protests tomorrow across all 50 states. I didn't even know that.
I
Wow.
didn't either.
Thanks, Kimberly. Arizona dust storms are called Haboobs.
Boobs. That's it.
I had never heard that before. Wow. Yes, I knew Angel, you would know too. Carla. Oh, Carla Paris is here. Hi, Carla. And weather today is really sunny, Genevieve, in London. All right. Sunshine for 7 days in Wales, UK. Unbelievable. Yeah, I would say really unbelievable, because usually with Mercury retrograde, you get one of those beautiful weekly forecasts, and then there's a little bit of surprise in there, but it's not for everybody. There's an, like you said, Amber, an event. Yeah, it's so funny that you said Neptune, because this is the UK chart, the solar return for the UK. And we're coming into April here, and there's Neptune right there with North Node. This is a lot of water, and it's also a lot of oil too. It almost looks like somebody's getting rich. This looks like a king here, and he's tapping into some oil. Is there something, I mean, we're already seeing that with Texas. Is there going to be some kind of big oil news?
Ooh, yeah. Look at that. The Wheel of Fortune in the upright. This is definitely a yes card, and it is about fortune. Someone is fortunate, or, oh, again, I have the Chariot twice. So is it around vehicles, cars? I mean, gasoline, oil connected to
right. Huh. So
cars.
maybe gas prices or something. Jan, British Petroleum oil shares up. They've abandoned the net zero agenda. Good. Well, I'm so glad those wealthy people can get a little bit more wealthy. But we will we will see some oil news, it looks like. Yeah, opening that Alaskan pipeline again, Jen says. And you had mentioned Alaska, I think it was 2 or 3 shows ago.
Yes.
Which I've been meaning to pull. And I mentioned it last week too. It was literally days later, Alaska was in the headlines. So it was crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, Shelley, haven't seen you in a while. Prince William Steph Ward says, hired his mom's divorce lawyers. Curious, any info? Beautiful day again. Saw that clickbait. I was actually going to put something in here about it too, but I forgot. And yeah, I think it's just a way to get more subscribers. Daily Mail's doing that. But what do you think, Amber, is behind? And then I'm going to get onto the charts. But what do you think is behind this latest headline that nobody can see unless they have paid? That Prince William has hired his mother's divorce lawyers.
You know, this is actually a positive card, and it's like a power move. It's to do with legacy, and I think it's strictly just because the person is known and maybe is a confidant. I don't see divorce.
I think it's a clue he's about to become king.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got to get his stuff in order. Wow.
As I get the Royal Leo card to clarify this King of Pentacles. Yeah.
And you know, you've got to think about this. You're becoming a king. You want to make sure that you can trust people. Do you want to hire your dad's lawyers, or do you want to hire your mom's lawyers? And maybe his mother's lawyers are just far enough away where he feels like he can speak freely, and I don't know. It's just a guess. Hello, it's Jazzy Jax from South Africa. Nice to see you. Now, Jan, you said, is William taking out a new super injunction? That's a good question. Some judges are starting to help us in America to slow Trump down or stop him on some of his decisions. Yeah, there were a bunch of 4 Republicans who band together. Didn't really do anything, but it was more symbolic. And they teamed with Democrats to try to stop the Canadian, was it tariffs? So yeah, we try not to get too political here, but you know, we have to observe sometimes. And I know, Angel, yes, putting out these salacious headlines behind a paywall, in my opinion, is financial. Okay. Oh, I did not know that. Last super injunction was to silence press on Rose issues. Allegedly. Wow. So, interesting. All right, so let me get
The
to,
court, stopping court.
yeah.
2 Ten of Swords
Oh,
and the Justice card. I was going to bring this up, that there was something in court that was being stopped, dead, done.
it's
It
done.
went done.
It's done. Okay. All right, so we've got between April 25th, I'm going to say it's probably last days of April, Neptune and North Node is going to be coming in and flooding us with something. I think it's probably a government scandal because it's squaring Capricorn. So there could be some scandal. It looks like a big one. It looks like yet another big one. Capricorn is here, and we've got a square from the Sun to Neptune. So that can show some kind of government scandal or scam of some sort. So we'll have to monitor that. There's a T square here, so it's pretty bad. We've got Libra, which is the court. This is, I mean, it could be something with Neptune in there. Sometimes it has to do with um, homosexuals, and then also the government. So, but I think it's probably more of like a scam or something that's happening that we're going to hear about. Ooh, this is really cool. I was looking at James Bond, and I was looking at kind of the history, and Roger Moore, when it was announced that he was going to become 007. So this was kind of in his journal, and his journal revealed that on the night before the first day of shooting Live and Let Die, Roger had slipped a note under director Guy Hamilton's door saying, "Good luck for the following day, and do break a leg. If I don't do what I am told, you have my full permission to kick me up the backside." On the first day of filming, after Roger's early morning workout, he found a little envelope that had been pushed under his door in return. It was a note from Hamilton on French Quarter Inn notepaper, which is where they were filming. It was headed Dawn, D-Day, and according to Roger, it read, "Into battle and very encouraged by your kind note. Here's good fortune to us all. As ever, Guy." Okay, so this was 1972, and I was thinking about Leo and the words of Leo. And funny how there's a weird, strange tie to Meghan Markle with her as ever brand. Her dog was named Guy. It almost makes me think that she's a Guy Hamilton fan or something. And so, and funny how during this is the chart for when they announced Roger Moore being 007. Look at all of that Leo. And funny how it was retrograde too. So I wonder if they had problems on the set when they were filming, but he certainly didn't have a problem. He was a very successful James Bond. But so this would also be the French Quarter. So I thought that was really cool. But of course, what is Neptune here? This is a spy, the spy in the French Quarter. So, and just to reiterate, that chart right here is the chart for when it was announced that Roger Moore would be James Bond. So we're about to get another announcement for another 007. And then it was a couple months later, Queen Elizabeth went to Yugoslavia, which was a communist country. It was the first visit by a reigning monarch. And so you could still see that Neptune was trining Leo. So Leo would be Queen Elizabeth, and Neptune was, communism in a communist country. So those kind of themes were happening in that year. And so I figured it was worth a mention. Now I'm going to go to the Evening Standard chart again, which we always like to go to. And I want to show you what I'm seeing here. And this is coming up. This is coming up May 11th. Here's the king here. Here's Leo. I think it's going to be pretty big. So this might have something to do with transportation. It's probably an email. It's another shocking email in May. That's going to be around May 10th. It has Uranus, which is shocking, Leo, which is the kingdom, could be France, And then Scorpio could be, well, we're talking about Prince or King Charles's investments and involving a spy. Investments are big right now, of course, with the stock market. So my question is, what do you think this T square is coming up for May 10th to May 12th?
Ooh, 2 cards wanted. Something definitely shocking. But I also have the Ace of Cups and I have the Knight of Cups. This is an absolute narcissistic combination. This is interesting love bombing. This is bait and switch. I don't know why that comes out. I want to see if there's money. Yes, that was my question. The Knight of Pentacles. This is like leaving breadcrumbs or something. There's like a trail. Follow the money, as everyone says. Follow the money. But it's someone dynamic and charismatic and probably trusted. So there could be a bait and switch with someone trusted.
Interesting. Now, I was about to say Prince Andrew, and then you said the trusted part. But
Yeah.
with that horse, I always think of Prince Andrew. Do you think Prince Andrew could be walking away and it's in complete shock? Like could it be like a kind of break?
It could, yeah. Judgment. That's a life-altering decision. That's a fork in the road decision to do the thing.
Okay.
It's,
Wow. Elfaz, you were asking what chart that was. That is a chart for when the Evening Standard first started. It was the birth chart, and then we took the solar return chart for the Evening Standard to kind of read ahead to predict what the news is going to be, because it's a good chart. Did you want to add something?
I just now noticed the image on this card. We've had this card a lot, but the Page of Cups, the face just reminds me of Prince William. Just at a glance, I was like, I got a vibe that it looks like Prince William, minus that crazy hair.
I
But the
know.
face in here does.
Yeah, it does.
Blue eyes.
Somebody young, or maybe a child. Would
Mhm.
it be a child, or would it be more like a young man?
Yeah, Paige is a child. Yeah, very young. Yeah.
Jan, you said talk of Beatrice moving to Italy and Andy to follow. So Beatrice is trusted, so that would go with what you were saying. Angel, you want to know what Musk is up to. Do you want to do a card for that? What is Elon Musk up to?
What is he
What kind of
up
show?
to?
What kind of show is this becoming?
Oh, I've got my little spy card. We keep talking about spies. Inside deal. Something might come out. This is information. This is secret information sometimes. It's like he is studying and learning information. Yeah. 9 of Swords in the reverse. More information. It's kind of, this is like something underground, top secret. I feel like he probably is taking on a role that we won't know about.
Interesting. Maybe he's got another girl pregnant.
Oh
my God. Well, that's what he wants. I'm not trying to be flippant, but that's what he has said. I know, Angel.
Yeah.
Mark Felton, you said, did a YouTube video on Trump's Scottish properties. Oh, I'll have to check it. Thank you, Jan. And so that's interesting. That's the scuttlebutt with Beatrice and Andy. All right. Let me just fix this really quickly. Just the background.
When you asked about Elon having another baby.
Yes.
And I got that Knight of Wands, finally, the card you pulled originally. And this Knight of Wands is a player card. This is someone making the rounds.
Stay away from the Knight of Wands.
Stay away from the playa.
Didn't you pull that for me a few weeks back? It was a Knight of something. Maybe it wasn't the Wands. I'll have to go back and look.
Maybe.
You said it was the fun card. It was a fun card.
They are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are fun.
Oh, they're certainly fun. All right. So we're going to quickly go into Prince Harry's prediction and something we were seeing here. And if you're interested in looking at your own prediction, you're going to go to AstroSeek and you're going to click on the solar return year of your last birthday that you had, and then click on solar only, that tab. And then you're going to be able to pull up your soul return, which is what we did. We've been doing for Prince Harry. We saw something was coming up here. This was the slide for February 4th. Something was really starting to happen there for him. You could see that. And oh, by the way, it was right around, remember, seventh house is business partners, and the seventh house is right around the Algol area. So the devil. Sometimes there can be problems with partners, and it's not just business partners, it can be personal too. So there he is right at the top there. And I thought it was really interesting how with Mercury here, this is a group. Venus here, this represents Harry. So this is Harry and his royal group. And what did they do? They quit. And so we're going in. I think it actually happened probably between March 4th and March 4th. All of that happened and went down. And then by the time, April 4th comes around, it's really, really in the news. He's got another surprise coming up here. It's almost like a second resignation from somewhere. And I say second because Mercury means two. So question for you, could this be a second charity? What's the twin energy that we're seeing here for Prince Harry?
I did wonder about him with court because he's so embattled in these 10 of swords, 10 of swords, meaning a ending, court, and something related to that. So that could be associated with Harry, but let's see what specifically we can get. That Page of Cups and the Three of Swords. Something is painful. This can also be an angry letter, an angry communication.
Okay.
You could put something down that's not very nice. Maybe because it's like that you could be standing up for someone, you could be speaking out about protecting someone. Protection comes out with this Page of Cups.
Do you think that page could also be a witness that's coming out?
Could be, and I just got another Page of Wands, which is someone who has energy, ideas, and they are not shy. It could be a woman. That could always reminds me of Meghan a little bit.
Right now, there's an investigation into his charity, and I think it's being spearheaded by Harry. I'm not sure, but we're going to hear some news about finances soon, I think. All right. Now, yeah, we got a lot of bullies, and we're going to be hearing a lot of the bullying because anytime you get a square with Leo, you are going to be a witness, or you might even be part of some kind of bullying episode. So that was that red line here going to Venus. Isn't it interesting how Venus in Leo, this is a queen, and this could actually be the queen. This could be. Okay, I got to ask this. Does this have something to do with Queen Camilla?
Well, the last two cards I got before I pull on that question was the Star card and the Ace of Pentacles. Famous woman and money.
Okay.
Lots of money.
This is around May 5th, 6th, 7th, something like that.
Well, if it is, it's something that's inevitable. It's in the upright. It's a yes. Could be her.
It seems like it could be pretty significant, but I'm trying to think. Jan probably knows, and some of you are very good at clues. But what could Prince Harry? Could be Queen Camilla actually being the one to make a major decision that affects Prince Harry. That's the only thing I could think of. Yeah. Okay. And now this is Meghan's decade chart. So we're in here for 2025, and you can really see this coming in. I'm a little worried actually for Prince Harry, because we're starting to get into Capricorn here for her. And to pull a decade chart, you would pull your birthday, and then instead of making it your year of your birthday, put in 2020. And so then you would, look at the houses for each year. So this would be 2025 for Meghan. And so the sixth house is to work, and it can be very, very good. But she has, at first, you've got a T square with North Node, which is just, it's difficult. It's very, very hard. It's confusing. Also, South Node in the sixth house is kind of despair of the job. Maybe people don't like it. People are kind of bullying you. But here's what I'm mostly looking at. Jupiter retrograde is Prince Harry, and you can see a big red triangle in there. And all of this, it's just negativity and sadness here. The only thing that's coming up for him in late, now this is around the holidays, is this Neptune in the ninth house of international travel, and also being in the news. It looks like there's something in the news, maybe something that's very successful for them. But other than that, it looks like he's in quicksand. He can't do anything. And oh God, Black Moon Lilith at the top there. Whenever I think of Black Moon Lilith at the top, I think of Putin. It's kind of like a very, very mean, evil person. So this is starting to play out. Also, keep in mind that all of that Capricorn, remember what's happening here. His charity helps African children. So this could be a stop of African kids, and that's what he's really upset about. So can you give us any more information on that?
This is the end of this year.
Yeah, it's going to be, I would say, between October and December.
I love that I always get my Harry card when we talk about Harry. 9 of Wands. He might, yeah, international travel. He's going somewhere. Oh, the King of Cups in reverse. It's a Scorpio king. And I feel like, is he traveling for a funeral?
Yeah. Okay. That's a possibility. Okay. Yeah. Neptune also is something coastal. So he could be, what makes them very happy is spending time in Spain, doing some international types of things.
Yes, those are these by the water.
Yeah. Okay.
Or travel by water. Yeah, but it's for something sad. There's anxiety, there's stress, it's very sad sense.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be a tough time. And then they move on to the next year there. And it's a lot, I don't know if it's a lot different. We'll have to take a look at it another time. But yeah, you can definitely see that coming up for both of them. And it's going to take being strong as a couple for them to get through that. Now, before I forget, I wanted to make sure you guys know that if you want to book a reading with me or Amber, here's the information. And Amber has 30, 60, and 90-minute readings. And you do them by recording, is that right?
I do, or live.
Or live, okay.
Together, yep.
Okay, perfect. And I also have a special on my readings this weekend only, so check it out. All right. Angel D, you said Donald Trump's mother is from the same Scottish island my parents lived. I did not know that. And I didn't know your parents lived on a Scottish island. Wow. All right. And, I got to catch up on some of this. Soda Pop, Knight of Wands, maybe a peer or friend who may not be much of a friend, I guess. Yeah, that's good. That's a possibility.
Yeah.
And let's see. Okay, just a fun fact. Trump's mother was a MacLeod from the Isle of Lewis. Probably a lot of Leo types of, the Highlands types of themes. And All right, Jan, you said, I thought Catherine would be seen wearing them to complement her engagement rings. And you're talking about the Queen of Mother's sapphires. They haven't been seen in years. This is something we really have to talk about at some point. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe, says Angel. Thank you, Angel. And Japhets, I did not know that. Val, I had my reading, and so far a lot has come up. As you said, the charts are amazing. They really are amazing. And yes, sure thing, Jazzy. Nice to have you join us. And now let me get back to this. Yeah, and there was that trine, though, to Uranus there, and you always look for the trines, and so that looks like independence of something. So it does look like there are some options when you're really stuck down in the quicksand. There's something that can help you. Sometimes this is a friend. It could be, maybe it's Jeff Bezos, and he's like, "Why don't you go to space?"
Yeah, lifeline.
So here's Harry's solar return, and it's such a great example of, if you want to look at Aries in your solar return chart, just check it out. See if you're going to be mad that year and what month. And you're going to look at Aries. And so between March 15th and April 15th, this was really going to start activating for him. And this is when it all started to come out about his charity, Centibal. And so you can also see here that with this house, which was this month that was activating, there's an opposition with Venus. So there's going to be somebody in there. And Venus in a man's chart is a wife, so it could be affecting. I'm sure Meghan Markle is probably very hurt and upset about all of this that's going on, but it can also represent maybe another female. And so what you want to do is, if you want to see how the Mars is going to look for you in your chart, you're going to look, or I'm sorry, how Aries is, you're going to look for the Lord, which is Mars. If there are red lines to Mars, that's going to be a problem. And sure enough, it is. There it is here. You can see how there's a T square here. Boom, like that. And if it's in a T square, that's really, really upset. So you could have predicted that this would have been a time that, you don't want to launch anything. You want to just like chill out, try to observe what's going on, understand that it's part of your chart. There's nothing you can do about it. And it was meant to be. So here's a crime chart we're going to talk about, and this is near and dear to your heart, Amber. I don't think this is how they looked, and I don't think they had crowns on, but this is Edward the Fourth. We're going to look at some of his charts. Now, Edward the Fourth, this is all around the War of the Roses time frame, and you can see a great story, and you've mentioned this by watching the White Queen and the Red Queen on Prime. Such great stories about it. It's an intriguing time, but it is ultimately a mystery because Edward's two sons went missing. It was all kind of intertwined, all of this in between a real fight for the crown, and because the twins, were they twins or were they? Okay, they were brothers. I wonder if they looked alike.
They were close in age. I think 12 and 9 or something like that. Yeah.
And just these poor kids got caught up in the middle. And I think, wasn't it in the 17th century, it was claimed that their remains were found in the White Tower, I think it was.
Yes. I think it might have even been later. I can't recall when, but yeah, and then grave robbers got in and destroyed, and they could never really make any claims to that it would be. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Angel. That's nice of you to say. Yes, not twins, but brothers. They might as well be twins, though, because of this chart. And I'm going to show you. Hold on one second. Let me just pull this back up. So this is a crime chart, and this is what we're going to be taking a look at real quick. Now, this is King Edward IV's birth chart, and you can see there are two planets that represent his kids. One, this is the first child, and this is the second child. Now, they don't know how they were killed, but I think that it had something to do with the neck, which would be Taurus. Would that make sense?
I think that they've suspected that they were probably smothered. So, yeah.
Okay. So this is his birth chart, King Edward IV's birth chart. And so what we would do is we would want to look at the fifth house. This is the child or the children, and they're in Gemini. So there would be two boys. Fifth house is the sons. And so we could do that, or we could also look at Mercury being the eldest, and then we look at two houses further for the younger one, which would be the sun, which is what I had explained a little bit earlier. And interesting how Gemini is squaring the moon. So this is somebody who is probably the culprit. Um, but I think that there were two people. This looks like a queen, looks like could potentially be a female,
Yeah.
but and also we have the sun, which is the second sun in this T square. Now, keeping in mind, this is the birth chart for King Edward. So this is his chart. But you can see here's another person, probably a man, probably somebody who's royal. And funny how both planets are in Leo. So these are probably going to be the royals. Would that make sense?
People part of the court. Yeah.
Part of the court.
Titled and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so now we've got to King Edward's solar return for 1483. And that's the year that they went missing. The boys went missing.
Yeah.
And so it's funny, I looked up on AI. I'm like, when were they probably killed? And it says autumn. And when I asked you said summer. And what's so interesting is the solar return would indicate that they were killed in the summer. So how you would do this is you would look at it like any other solar return as a calendar. And so interesting that the fifth house of children is on Algol, 2 degrees off of the fixed star Algol, which is the devil degree. And here we go, squaring two people here. And this is Leo, so two people of the court. And interesting that it's the fourth house too. I didn't even notice that it would be it seems like it would be in the home or something. But it was in the tower. Was the tower near the home?
Towers. Yeah. Yeah. They had royal apartments in Tower of London.
Okay.
Used to be.
And and I also go ahead.
And a prison.
Yeah, and a prison. And interesting that this T square here with whoever this is, remember they were found. What's Aquarius? Aquarius is the stairs. And so this is a big part of this chart. So the kids were found, I think, under the stairs. And then the tower too is also could be Aquarius too. Could be, yeah. All right. Okay. So that being said, now we're going into Camilla's solar return prediction. And we're seeing Leo here. We're seeing two people with Leo. And we're seeing a square to the moon, which represents her husband. And there is a T square with Mars and Uranus. This is a big deal. This is a go to Japan for a few months. This is go away, run away, run away. And that's a quote from Nikola from Serbia. He used to say that. And this is a big deal. Look at this right on Algol. So I thought, and it's so interesting how you've been mentioning that you wanted to look at the charts. And I was trying to figure out how I was going to kind of weave it into today's presentation, but it looks like it's amazing. It's amazingly similar in the sense that something shocking happened to the boys, Edward's kids, but this is also the same type of court shock. And so this is the end or the last chart I have for today. But I thought we just discuss this for a second and see what you could make of it. I mean, it looks like it's it's going to be a shock or something, a court shock, a revenge, and it has to do with King Charles. It's right before, I would say it's about, I mean, it's coming up. This is days away. We're talking about like April 15th, 16th, something like that. So can you give us some kind of maybe visual or idea of, and I've asked you about this a bunch of times, but since it's coming up, I might as well ask you again.
Yeah, I finally got that last final third card that you had, and I said it before, Queen of Wands. Sometimes it makes me think of Camilla. So we're
Right.
on the right track with the question. What could this be for her? Let's see what's under. Oof. It is tough. Something. Typically my Diana card. I'd love to see in the chart if there's something around that, but I also do see the vehicle thing, transportation, and is there a naming of transportation that's like around Diana versus her, or vice versa?
What do you mean, like a naming?
Like a dedication in
Oh,
Diana's name versus or something around a naming. Oh, well, there's the tower on the bottom. Why it's all happening. It's inevitable. And
okay.
it's
Okay.
like lightning strikes.
Well, remember, then, and more Leo for Diana, she was in France when she was killed.
Yeah.
And with Mars and Uranus, why I'm so worried about that, because it does mean a car bomb. We saw that with Putin and his limo
Yeah.
blowing up. And then we also just had, I mean, we're getting Mars and Uranus energy right now. We just had someone blow up their car, I think in Amsterdam. So this is kind of maybe some omens that are coming in that could be dangerous.
Can you see in the chart, there's a little bit of an indicator here that it's like the danger is to multiple family members.
Yeah. Let me see. All right. So,
you know, I mean, two heads of state typically don't travel in the same vehicles, and it's something like that.
yeah.
I mean, I know Harry and William were always
Well,
told they can't travel in the same.
yeah, because I mean, the vertex, and this is a group of people. This is a group of royals, a group of courtiers, and it could
Yes.
simply be people who work for them.
Right.
And they are in the line of fire somehow. But 1, 2, 3, third house from King Charles, it's spot on, like you said. This is a car. This is a short trip. So he has to be really careful of these short trips. This is it's just an obstruction of something, and he's trying to do something, but this is something that's so shocking that he can't do what he wants to do. Could be some kind of event where everything gets shut down for a little while. But it's, this part is in King Charles's 10th house. So something out in the open, something maybe in the government, could be something that has to do with something government, since the 10th house is government. Could be a big change for maybe the rule. Maybe there are different policies coming in that the king isn't very pleased with. Could be just simply like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll have to see.
To be with restrictions around Harry's travel, or the deportation scandal.
Yeah, it could definitely. The third house, really, though, you know what it is? Oh my gosh. The third house is Prince Andrew. And we are about to see some pretty big headlines, because it seems as if King Charles was part of, at least it's being reported, that he might have been part of those conversations with the Chinese spy.
Right.
Yeah. And so the reason I say King Charles loses his head is because, just like what we were seeing in Edward IV's charts, we have Uranus right here, and it's opposing, it's not perfect. It is opposing the planet that represents King Charles and Camilla's chart, but it looks like it's close to him at the very least. And this is the losing one's head degree. So, so we'll have to see, we'll have to monitor it and see what happens in April. I hope everybody stays safe. You know, it's something where it would be a great, What I would say is I'd say it would be a great time to do things where they're unexpected and unplanned. If everybody thinks you're going to go here, then go a little earlier.
Mm.
Just try to change things a little bit, and that could help.
Mm.
If you were to talk to King Charles right now and he was your client, what kind of advice would you give him?
Stay home. Stay home.
Go in the basement,
That's
which is
right.
yeah, and that's Scorpio. So Scorpio's
Right.
basement.
Go watch a
Actually,
show. Put on your playlist.
exactly.
Write some
Oh
letters.
my gosh, exactly. Jan, you said
Yeah.
Camilla had Black Moon Lilith in March. That's right.
Yeah.
And okay, if you have time, can you check the Pope too? Val Casey and the Pope sort of
Yes.
mirror each other. I didn't have time to check the Pope. The only
Mm.
thing I can see is something that is that would be Gemini and Mercury. Yeah, it could be. Mercury is. I don't know. I'd want to see more Gemini though. I don't have anything on the Pope right now. And Jay Fitz, you said Charles has to sort Andrew out before William King as his brother and to protect monarchy. I agree. That's got to. In fact, they might say, Prince Andrew, brother, you must go somewhere else.
Mm.
And I thought Italy was canceled. The Pope's visit is canceled. I have not heard the visit to Italy, but with all of that the hospital visit lately, they're really saying for him to slow down. So we'll see what happens. And Sierra User, you said, I get the impression Camilla is suffering due to Casey III's health issues and her own. She's a Cancerian, by the way. And yeah, maybe her power is waning. Jan, you said recording of the Princes in the Tower Burst came out in French church baptism records. Yes, that's right. And let's see, there's a new documentary based on some newly found letters. The whole world misses the Queen. That's true. And I know, Shelley, isn't it? Angel D Politics, just kitchen table talk. That's right. And then, okay, Eleanor, you said, I watched a documentary which was trying to prove they didn't die or were murdered based on newly found letters. Okay, I figured that's what you're talking about. So I'm going to have to check into that. Now, the princes in the tower didn't belong to their father. He'd been at war for 15 months. What do you say about that, Amber?
I've heard that. I've
Yeah.
heard that, there's been speculation that they were not royal blood. There's lots of speculation around all of it. It just feels so dramatic and scandalous. And
Yeah.
then you look at what we're talking about in current day, and it's so similar, different, but similar. Yeah, I don't know. I believe they were taken.
Oh, okay. And I think they're still, no matter if they're his kids or not, people think they are. So it's still going to show up in his chart. Jay Fitz, she said, you told me not to travel after the 12th of March, and I listened, and then the Heathrow disaster. Oh my God, yes.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good that you weren't there.
Yeah.
I wonder if Deb, I was going to ask Deb if, and I don't think she's on now, but she went on a cruise. So I wanted to check on that cruise. And Eleanor, could we do this one final card? Is there a danger to the public? Shall we stay home too? It's a good one.
It's kind of interesting. It's like, do the bare minimum. Just take precautions. This Queen of Wands, she's in a great place. But this person is maybe ruminating, sitting alone, thinking about past times and memories. Base it on your own history and your strokes of luck or not luck, I would say.
Yeah.
It doesn't give a big warning flag about everyone needing to stay home.
Okay.
No.
Do your best that you can do. Live your best life. Don't sit around thinking about it too hard. So good. All right. Well, thank you so much, Amber. As always, it was fascinating.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. And we'll see you guys next time.
See you soon.